No, I don't know if Patrick's that type of guy. Yeah, maybe if he had to sign some sort of non-disclosure or something, but
I doubt that. I doubt that because Patrick wants to help.
yeah.
But I'm muting myself out. Have a good one.
You too.
Good evening. Yeah. I've been looking at the forms and I guess to modify the UCC contracts, and I don't have a problem with that. You can modify them to whatever you want them to be, including paying medical bills or upping your Social Security. And the 1414, which you would send along with it, declares who the security is on that, not you, but your fugitive. I'm having a little bit of trouble trying to focus in on general terms the purpose of the 16 for the payment bond and the 18 for the performance bond. Exactly when would you use that? What would be the conditions for that? Bill, you seem to be further ahead on this than most people. What's your ideas about that?
So much would I. Yeah, that's it.
Pardon?
So much would I. Yeah, that's it.
Okay. I so much.
Well, I did them. I did the full GSA forms for every account.
Oh, you did all four?
Yep. Yeah. I figure why not.
Okay. And so it's on that you declared how much of the performance bond you want and how much.
Oh no, I didn't do that. I didn't put that in there because the SF30 denotes full liquidation.
Okay.
So full liquidation is full liquidation. That we're we're victims of fraud. Under UCC 2A505. How are we going to know if they're not going to give us an accounting?
Right.
Jerry?
So Patrick didn't post his documents to go to the sheriff today, so I presume that he's still working on them and make sure they're absolutely the way he wants them to be.
Top of the twilight. Did I just hear you say that he's not going to be on the call? He's working on the document. Is that correct?
Well, I don't know whether he's going to be on the call or not, but he hasn't posted the documents yet.
I do.
I presume that's because they're not in shape he wants them to be.
Okay, brother. I understand you. Thank you so much.
And
I have some other information, but I'm going to hold it back as of right now. Okay?
Okay. Okay, I muted area code 862 because of the radio or television in the background.
Right on, brother. Good for you.
Jim? Jim?
I was thinking as a fail safe, because some people seem to be kind of scared of their sheriffs. Like in Pennsylvania, we have constables, and that person's job is to take the fugitives in. So I'm wondering if that might be something we could use.
Would that be like a constable on patrol, otherwise known as a cop?
Nope. No, a constable. We have state police, we have police, we have sheriffs, and we have constables. The constables basically work to bring fugitives into the court.
Correct. They're the bounty hunters.
Yep.
And would that be the same title in every jurisdiction, or would we have to find it in our jurisdiction?
It would be the same title. You're on Ohio. Yeah, they have them in Ohio. There's like one per county.
Interesting. Okay.
Yep, they go and they'll arrest people for like parking tickets and stuff like that. You know, that haven't responded.
Okay. So they're the fugitives. Okay.
Yep. Yeah. So they're the fugitive enforcement agent. Sheriff does a lot of stuff, but the constable is the one that apprehends a person, and they have statewide jurisdiction, whereas the sheriff has county jurisdiction.
Is the constable under the sheriff, or is that an independent office?
Nope, reports to the governor of the state, at least on Pennsylvania.
Okay.
Commonwealth. It's a Commonwealth of Pennsylvania.
Yeah, we're the Pennsylvania Commonwealth.
Are you the Pennsylvania Commonwealth or the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania?
The Commonwealth of Pennsylvania is the Pennsylvania Commonwealth is the de jure state.
Only if you invoke it. So, Tom, would you do me a favor? I'm making some dinner right now, and I'm going to go ahead and mute out.
That's fine.
And I'll continue to listen, and as soon as it comes on, I'll have a little information, okay?
Okay, very good. And we won't hear all your dishes clacking. Good. So some people cook their dinner right on camera here. So that's fine. Thank you. Now, it is possible that Patrick won't show up. That's fine. We still can talk about these things among ourselves and catch up and actually probably speak in a more comprehensive manner than we can write on the Skype group, because the Skype group seems to veer off in certain directions at times, where it's much nicer here than we can on the Skype group. So the Skype group.
I spoke to Patrick less than an hour ago. He said he would be on the call tonight.
That'd be great. That'd be great.
And he is still working on his sheriff's letter.
I figured that.
I'll mute now.
Okay, very good.
Okay, that's Patrick. I'm on the call now.
Hi, Patrick.
Okay. One of the key things that everybody out here listening on this call needs to understand is the power of one single word. And this is the most powerful word in the American English language. It is invoke. INVOKE. When you invoke the laws of the Republic, they have to comply and give you the laws of the Republic. This is per the Constitution, Article 4, Section 4. That basically, starts off, the United States shall guarantee a republic form of government. Well, basically, who is the United States in that statement? The United States is the people, not the government. There's 4 different terminologies for the usage of the word United States. The first one is we the people are the United States. Okay, that is called out right in the preamble of the Constitution. The second highest or word for the United States is the land of the territory. Okay? Third in lineage comes the government. Fourth in lineage comes the fraudulent copyrighted United States, 1871 copyrighted United States. It's at the very bottom of the totem pole. Somebody's got a lot of static coming in.
I think I got that. I think they're washing dishes.
Please, people, mute yourself out so you don't have this feedback coming in, okay?
*6.
So, we are the only ones that can invoke the Republic out here now. When you invoke the Republic, there can be no female judges in that damn court. There can be no bar members in that court. They have to take those bar memberships off if they want to claim the title of that Republic office that they are supposedly to be representing. Now, as we found out, in 1872, we basically, by Supreme Court ruling, were classified, we are a bounty hunter, and as such, we basically are also out here as a U.S. law enforcement officer, as a bounty hunter. We have the power to make arrest or issue arrest. And basically you can look it up in the dictionary, arrest without warrant. Somebody's still got a lot of static in the background there. I don't know what's going on. Mute everybody, Tom.
Oh, God.
That's ridiculous, that type of noise, to be coming in and trying to give a clean call, to have that much static on the damn call.
My line. Let me drop off and see if that clears it up.
Okay. Okay. In the dictionary, in Ballantyne's dictionary, arrest without warrant. In the last item there says a private person was that of a person who had the arrest, where an arrest made by a private person was that of a person who had committed an offense in his presence. So when you declare that you invoke, and see that? The word invoke means calling upon a higher authority, a higher law in the process. The second most powerful word in the American language is revoke. But you can't revoke something until basically you have invoked. You have to do the invocation first. Then you can revoke all other fraudulent items that are around there. So you have to come in, and basically this is good in any court. If you just say that One little phrase, I invoke the laws of the Republic, and shut your damn mouth and wait and see what happens. Even if you don't want to say it, you can write it down and sign and date it and hand it to the bailiff and have it go up to the judge. And more than likely, you're going to see that judge either dismiss the case, run for his life, or whatever. Because by having a bar license, he is basically in violation of the Republic. He is in violation of Section 3 of the 14th Amendment. They try and bring us in the court under criminal charges. Well, when you basically invoke the laws of the Republic, they can't bring you into court on criminal charges unless there has been a grand jury submittal. Period. So basically that fraudulent charge of criminal is going to have to go away because they've already violated the law about bringing you into court without a grand jury indictment. This is good in any court action. And that's what we have to do when we're getting ready to terminate these things, because we have to be standing in the Republic. We have to let them know we are standing in the Republic. We, the people, are the executive over the government. We're not the president. The president is the executive over the government employees, but we are over all of the government as an executive. We're the owner of the government. We fund the government. We have the power to withhold funding from them. They're a debtor to us. So, hopefully you people understand how powerful that word invoke is in the usage of what we're trying to do here. You can put that on your car. I invoke the laws of the Republic. Watch the movie The Postman. I invoke the laws of 8. And they had to comply. He was challenging for leadership. You want to become basically the senator or the congressman, or basically you invoke the laws of the Republic, and basically if they don't vacate, you can assume that office. Yeah, you want to be president of the United States? Invoke the laws of the Republic and see what happens to Obama, shithead. You want Hillary out of the picture? You invoke the laws of the Republic, and basically you order the arrest of her as a bounty hunter. There's a bounty on her head.
I can't hear you. What?
Please mute yourself out, okay? Yeah, see, I was so damn close to arresting the damn judge in the damn county courthouse there. The sheriff sort of talked me out of it, said, you really don't want to do that. Well, I really did, but I backed down. But now I can go in there and I can have any one of those guys arrested for the fraud of the office. But I have to first invoke the laws of the Republic. Go into the county commissioners meeting. Invoke the laws of the Republic. And basically, if they have to disclose, basically, if they're getting any kickbacks, any retirements into the employees' retirement pension plan before they make a vote. That's a kickback. You can't be in a governmental office and getting kickbacks. So you could have every one of them arrested. They have to renounce that pension, that retirement. There was never any guarantee in the Republic constitutions for retirements for people. They had access to the funds like everybody else out here if they needed funds. This was not supposed to be a debtor's nation. If you had a debt, then basically you could do a draw against the National Treasury. There was the means previously in the Republic by the statutes to do that. You have to invoke the law of the Republic. Now, the senators have to be elected by the state legislative branch. They're not to be elected by the people. Women don't have the right to vote in the Republic. Women don't have the right to hold all these elected offices that they think they've got the right to. Women were supposed to be protected by the estate of the man, whether it's her father or her husband or whatever. They were able to go out and have secretarial jobs and everything, basically to be out front there so that they can basically attract a man to take them off the streets. But basically this country has gotten so out of whack because it's operating under the Babylonian banking system of Baal worship. And that's what this whole commercial system out here is. It's a Baal, it's an English trust system of banking. But it is just a remake of the Babylonian Baal system. The Israel Talmudic banking system in Jesus' time. the Babylonian banking system in Daniel's time, the Pharaonic banking system in the Egyptian period of Moses, the Assyrian banking system of bondage using the dead idol worship that was in place in the Assyrian when Abraham was out there. And then you had, previous to that, the first Babylon. These banking systems have not changed one bit. They're still the same all the way through the history. Just in different formats. And right now, the present format we have is this English banking trust insurance system. But it's total destructive. It's a total insurrection against the republic of this country, this nation, and against the people. It's restricting our rights of free and just trade. All for their profits and benefits, and best you can see who's been profiting. The Bushes, the Hillary Clintons, the Obamas, all of these shitheads out here that are working for the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers and all these other thieves out here. Hell, Al Capone was a saint compared to these guys. All these FBI and IRS agents and U.S. Marshals that are listening in, basically you better get your head out of your ass. Because you can be arrested too for impersonating a republic government position. If you're standing and supporting one of these insurrection agents out here. The hammer's just about ready to start falling in this process. It's about time those people start waking up. I hope to have my sheriff's document here ready to go in the next day or so, if I may be able to finish it up tonight. But it's laying it right on the line. We basically turn it in, and all of these documents we have are monument or memorial documents that are coroner death certificates. When a bounty hunter, basically like in Wanted Dead or Alive with Steve McQueen, he could either take the living person in, turn him over to a sheriff and collect the bounty. He could take the body laid across the saddle, dead, and bring it into the sheriff's office and claim the bounty. Or basically he could have an attestation document showing, approving, stating that basically the guy was dead and was buried so-and-so, whatever, and claim the bounty. We have the latter because there is no physical body for our fugitive to be found. So it's a death certificate. We have to turn those into a sheriff. He has to process them up the line through the judicial department the county prosecutor or attorney or whatever that's an agent for the state attorney general, and he has to get those up to the state attorney general within 24 hours, normally by a bonded carrier. In most cases, having one of the deputies run it up there to the state capitol. We don't have to send the sheriff with his deputy up there. We turn it over to the sheriff. He has to give it to the county prosecutor, and then the prosecutor has to get it up there within 24 hours. Notice the principals, notice the agent. So when we notified that county attorney, he's the agent. He has to get it up to the principal into his hands within 24 hours. Now, the bounty has to be paid within 3 days. And that bounty is basically addressed in Title 15 U.S.C. Section 1 and 2. $1 million for each different crime that has been committed. Our restraint of trade, and then the monopolization of our rights of free trade by our fugitives under these contracts out here. And you can mark the box on the SF-30 forms when you fill those out. And when you surrender these fugitives, you have to have 5 documents there in the package for each of these fugitives. The certificate, the Social Security, copy of the Social Security card, the certificate of live birth, the certificate of title to the vehicle, the certificate of marriage, the voter registration certificate, the driver's license or state ID license certificate. These are all certificates, and they're death certificates. You, when you stand in the Republic, there is no item out here in the law that tells you or prevents you from putting your own identification out here. There's no restriction on what your badge looks like. Badge of authority. I'll be sending a new document out. I changed my badge around to where it looks a little more meaningful in the process. To where the badge says at the very top, United States Republic, and then second line it says executive owner / B.H. and then / B.A. G. Private executive owner, bounty hunter, private attorney general. Third line says grantor, per, and then my 98 series EIN number. And then the fourth line is basically the date it was issued. And then in the seal, basically, it's the eagle with the shield showing the 13 stripes, the 13 stars, the 13 arrows, the 13 olive branches, and shitting on the 9-digit tail feathers. That's all these fraudulent contracts. And then I have a little deal there next to the badge. You print that out, and then basically you sort of cut that those two items together and then fold them over. So now you have a front with the badge and the back side, and it says, I invoke the laws of the Republic. United States Republic government, owner, bounty hunter, private attorney general, one having a superior executive authority based upon the constitutional preambles of ownership and as being a Supreme Court validated U.S. executive law enforcement agent. And then basically I've got where that stands in the Constitution. Then I have my picture ID, United States Republic executive owner, and basically my fingerprints, my picture, and then the front side of it out there as Mr. Patrick, semicolon, Divine, United States Republic executive owner, and then my address to where I'm in the Iowa Republic, and then with my zip code. They can't rebut this. If they do, they are rebutting the Republic. And to do so, they are basically been in a state of insurrection. And you can arrest them and claim the bounty for them, because they're an agent that is trying to restrain your trade, your right of free trade. We're the owners of this country. The government is a servant. They work for us, just like in all the parables that Jesus talked about out here, about the bad servants. Basically, also in my letter to the sheriff and to the county attorney and to the state attorney general, they have 7 days to get with the U.S. Marshals, the Secret Service, the IRS, and the FBI to bring about, seize the assets, and bring the assets in, and then set up a meeting within 7 days to do the probating of those fugitives' accounts. The Attorney General will be one of the two Attorney Generals in the process. We will be the other as a private Attorney General in the process. We're also the owner. So we have two positions to that state Attorney General. It's a tribunal. Probating action. We have 2 votes. You got to learn how the game is really played. So that's basically about everything that you need to have. You set up an individual package for each fugitive, each certificate you have. So you have an SF-30, you have an SF-1414, to where you are the owner over that surety, and then you have the SF-1416 for the payment bond, and the 1418 for the performance bond under these contracts. This letter that you're sending out is a letter of contract. You can look that up in the dictionary or in the internet. And it is a valid letter of contract as an obligation to be honored. And they have to honor that because that's like an owner, basically a master-servant scenario. And you're the master. And basically we, on the SF-30, you do not have to, you mark that the contractor is not required to sign. These contractors are bad contractors. You think a bad contractor would ever sign a termination of a contract? No. So why even bother? You have the power to terminate the contract per the universal commercial contract laws that are out here. 2 Alpha-505. I posted that before, but you can look it up. It's pretty simple to read. We are the initiators. As the owner, we're initiating the termination of these contracts. We've been harmed in the process by these. This is how you get your restitution back. Like I said, per Article 4 of the Constitution, Section 4, we, the people, are the United States that is guaranteeing the republic form of government. This was not a democracy. This was to be a republic. And only the people that stand up can guarantee their right to a republic form of government. The other people will stay right in Babylon. All these so-called experts out here that basically have been charging people out the ass have been hoodwinked and ripped off. And you can file charges against them for perpetrating a fraud against the Republic also. So, basically that's pretty much, let me run through this, see if there's anything highlighted. Oh, the fugitive, basically, for the certificate of live birth and the U.S. Military Selective Service accounts, those were fugitive trade acceptances between the United States Treasury and the Federal Reserve banks. All others are fugitive trade acceptances between the contractors and the Federal Reserve banks. In most cases, they were bank acceptances, not trade acceptances. I got to change that. They were bank acceptances that basically had to be approved by the Federal Reserve Bank. Just like your bank account when you set that up. It's a bank acceptance, but and the bank is the contractor, and the Federal Reserve Bank is the other party in the contract under the bank acceptances. But we are the prime owner of those contracts out here. So like the Federal Reserve Bank is a subcontractor in the process. And that would cover your Social Security, your passport trust, your driver's license trust, your voter registration card trust, your certificate of title to the vehicle trust. They're all trust. And basically, what is a trust? A form of bondage. But they're contract trust in the process, and they are required to have a payment and a performance bond attached to them. Okay, let's see if there's anything else. Yeah, and then basically you write up your orders to the county sheriff, to the county attorney, and then to the state in the republic, the attorney general. And then basically you, to the attorney general, you give him a directive that basically he's got to pay the commercial reward bounties within the next 3 business days in the form of a Iowa or whatever state republic credit debiting card to be delivered to you. And then they're to set up a, they're to have the fugitive's contract trust bonded assets seized by using the U.S. Marshals, the Secret Service, the IRS, the FBI, and anybody else that they think they need to have, and then arrange for a fugitive contract probate meeting to take place within the next 3 business days after they receive this package. If anybody does not comply with that, basically they can turn around and be charged and arrested by us as a law enforcement officer, a bounty hunter, and claim the bounty, the commercial bounty against them. Right now, the document that I have is almost 5 pages in length. And then basically I've still got to put, and then you would put each one of these packages into a vanilla envelope and then address the outside of that envelope what that fugitive is, the account number or the contract number, and basically surrender that envelope, okay, over to the sheriff. And that's basically I would... there's vanilla envelopes that have sort of like a seal on them, not with the clasps out here. They cost a little more. I know you can get them as staples. And then also you put a copy of your non-UCC in with this. You're going to have the sheriff sign this. You're going to sign it in front of the sheriff. He'll sign it. He has to put his seal of office on it. And then you will get a copy of it. There will be 2 extra copies made The sheriff will keep the original copy of this letter of contract, and then one copy will go up with the package to the county attorney for his records, and the other copy will go up to the state attorney general for their records in the Republic. That's why you don't see any of these documents out here, and nobody in the public world can access these Republic records. You don't get a notary public. You don't get a apostilled by a fraudulent commercial secretary of state or any of that bullshit. You do that, and you're destroying the validity of the Republic. We have the power and the authority when we understand where we really are. And see, we're operating also, when we're operating under the Republic, we're operating under the laws of Christ. Because Christ is the Roman Republic law, the Ten Commandments cast in iron. That's really what Christ stands for, cast in iron. Term Christ didn't come about until basically in the Roman era. See, you've got to sit back and think about these things. Why did this come about, and when did it come about? What is it really inferring to? Just like everybody for years has thought the United States is basically the government, but they don't know how to read the first 7 words of the Constitution. And then everybody out here has been running around, all the deceivers and the shitheads that don't know how to read anything, saying, oh, that was just for those 56 people that signed up on the Constitution. That was only for their benefit. Yeah, that makes all sense in the world. Mute yourself out until I'm done. I'll call for when I'm ready to have people ask questions. Okay? How many people have died thinking that they're supporting the Republic when they're really supporting a commercial Babylonian banking system that is out here screwing them over? Yeah, it's about time the people started standing up and taking this country back from these foreign bankers, these card sharks out here. Deceivers of contracts. They violate everything in a contract. That's one of the key things that I was putting into this document, that basically they have every commercial asset contract violations range from non-disclosure, intent to defraud, concealment of securities, tax evasion, disclosure of interest, procuring breach of contract, interfering with trade or business, and operating under false pretenses as a constitutional commercial derivative office or officer of the original Republic government. Total fraud. That is all insurrections, actions of insurrections, supporting the enemy, giving aid and comfort to the enemy. Archbishop. So I tried to lay this all out in this document when you get it and see why we have the power to do what we're doing is because we, when we were standing, and we are standing in the Republic, because this system wouldn't work if we weren't standing in the Republic. Because under Article 4, Section 1, we have to be in the Republic to issue the credits to them. Because it's we, the people, that are giving the full faith and credit. The government can't give full faith and credit because they don't have any credits to give. And they have no faith. They're faithless. They've proved that. They're godless. They're Baal worshipers right now, believing in something dead. And then basically the law that gives us the authorization per that Article 4, Section 1 is basically H.R. 192. Since they took all the gold and silver off the table, the only thing that we had left was to basically give credit value against the gold and silver that was held in the national treasuries. And see, that gold and silver is still there because basically what these Babylonian bankers have been operating off of is our labor credits. When they turn around and got us to put our labor values into buying their bonds. We can shut this whole thing down and bring peace to the world if enough people fully understand what I'm trying to say here. And it's not that hard to see. And it's not that hard to go into a court now and just say a few simple words. I invoke the laws of the Republic. And see what happens to that courtroom out here. And they better shut down that damn court, or basically you, as a Republic executive owner of the state and of the nation, can issue an arrest, their arrest right there on the spot, because you are a law enforcement officer. You're an executive law enforcement officer. But you have to invoke the Republic first. You have to claim to be that eagle on the Great Seal. And you're going to shit upon them if they don't comply. Now, why was there only 9 tail feathers? Why wasn't there 13 tail feathers? Because that's where their shithole's at. And you can shit on them. And when I referenced my being that eagle in the seal, the Justice Department seal that stopped the U.S. Marshals and the Secret Service from trying to arrest me for threatening a bankruptcy female judge. Because right then and there, when I did that, I was claiming I was in the Republic. I didn't know that that's what I was doing at the time. Now I do. It's a little easier just to come in and say, I invoke the laws of the Republic. Right up front, and that shuts everything down at a standstill. Then if they want to continue to operate there, they have to basically renounce their bar membership because they would be in violation of Article 1, Section 10, holding a foreign title of nobility.
That's the power of the Creator, the grantor.
We are the grantor, we're the guarantor, okay? Okay, I'm done for talking. Basically, go ahead and open it up for some questions. We're not going to try and keep this on as a long call. This should be pretty self-explanatory. You people need to listen to this and study the documents that I have out there. Read the instructions on the documents. Understand them. Go back and read the Constitution. Read the documents that I've highlighted out there about the Article 4, Section 4. Look over all those documents that I submitted. The 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendment. The highlighting that I did on the preamble of the Constitution. It's all right there. You people have to get that into your mindset. I can't put it there. And my talking to you ain't going to do it any more than basically you turning around and listening to this call several times over. I've given you the answer. I've given you the remedy. I've given you a lot of the templates out here of doing this stuff. It's not rocket science. Okay? A fifth grader could do this. If you need to, go and get a fifth grader to help you.
So Patrick, I have one thing I need to tell you. You keep saying HR 192 and you had it on the SF30. It's actually HJR 192. HR 192 is totally different.
HJR 192, okay.
Yeah, we had to go back and correct that. I went and redid all my SF30s because I looked it up and it just didn't look right to me.
House Joint Resolution 192.
But I did hear that it was repealed at some point. I read that someplace. But there's also Public Law 7310, which may be, I'm not sure if that's been repealed.
Well, yeah, some of this stuff, basically, how can they repeal something? Basically, they're not valid.
Begin with.
They don't have the repeal authority.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Yeah, they're a fraud to begin with.
Oh, another thing I found, Patrick, is my sheriff's has a bar license and female. There's also constables on Pennsylvania, and that's like a fugitive recovery agent that's employed by the governor.
What?
Okay.
A constable.
I would go to a sheriff. That's supposed to be the highest officer in the county. And you basically put that there. I don't know, basically, whether a female can be a sheriff, okay? in the process. I don't think there was any stipulation, but basically they can't have the bar license. They have to be operating in the Republic.
Right.
Why do most sheriffs never go out on an arrest?
Because they work for the Republic.
Because they're supposed to be representing the Republic.
Yeah.
They only send their commercial deputies out there to be in harm's way. And then they never operate under a lawful warrant anyway.
Yeah, I believe it. You're a fucking one.
Yeah, because they're going out and they're charging people with a criminal arrest warrant, and there has not been a grand jury indictment in the process.
That's an unlawful arrest.
So basically, you just say, hey, I'm in the Republic, and basically you harm me, and basically, I'll go along with you, but basically you're going to end up going to jail in my place when this basically gets properly adjudicated in the Republic. Put that on your car.
Alan.
Now, see, all these people, one of the key things I forgot to mention last week was how were these people going and doing the closed checks process against a closed checking account?
Oh, that's stupid. How are they doing it? Well,
they were coming in with an SF-30 and a SF-1414 and a SF-1416 to draw the funds out of that closed checking bond account. All your assets, when you deposit something into the bank, it does not pay the bill. It goes into the payment bond. So all your funds that you've been paying into that checking account have been held as collateral, and we don't know how much the initial, when you set the account up, whether it was you put 250,000 credits into the payment bond so that basically they had credits to use as collateral for the FDIC to write their insurance policies, but basically it was the performance bond with the FDIC that has been paying the bills with that contractor, the bank. They have a performance bond there that's really paying the bills. That's why you have to pay income taxes, is because they're coming out and using the high interest performance bond to make all your payments. And then when the income tax comes along, all you needed to do was turn around and file that claim back against that bank performance bond to do the draw from there for your income taxes. See, when you start learning more and more about how these contracts all work, and they all work the same way, all of our labor and everything goes into the payment bond. It's not what is paying the bills. It's the performance bond that's paying the bills. And basically the high interest bond system out here that is being operated. And that is the destructive force of the country. So all of our real assets are being a deprivation of right of free and just trade and exchange. Go after your main ones, your Social Security account, your certificate of live birth, your driver's license. Get those off the table. Your certificate of title to your vehicle. Some of the ones that you get your foot in the door, basically then you can turn around and close everything else down when you're standing in the Republic. Say, oh, I forgot this fugitive over here. I need to have him brought in too. Or I forgot this one over here.
Patrick, what if a person had authenticated their birth certificate through the Secretary of State? What would you suggest?
The what?
Someone had already authenticated their birth certificate with the Secretary of State. What would you suggest?
Burn it.
I'm sorry?
Burn it.
Burn it?
Yeah, burn it. It's not worth shit.
The birth certificate too, or just the apostle on top? I mean, the authentication on top.
Read what the document says. Any alteration of that document voids that document.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like you going and getting a notary when you want to operate in the Republic. That's a notary republic. But it's not a public, they're just a public notary. Okay? It's a fraud. You don't need a notary to basically do the attestation to your documents. By two you are known, your right and left index finger and your autograph. 3 persons. Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. Right, left, and forehead. Jesus tried to explain that to people. Understand the metaphors that are in the Bible. None of this stuff is new out here. Nothing new under the sun. Same old scenario from day one. But you go and get somebody else, a fraudulent officer out here, authenticating something, and basically, what is he really authenticating? He ain't authenticating shit. He's invalidating it. He's voiding it for you. That's why they can't file a non-UCC in the commercial world. Yeah, in some states, the Secretary of State will basically give you a number for a UCC that's filed as a non-UCC, but then when you go and try and use it as a non-UCC, you're going to find out that it ain't worth shit. Because the Secretary of State is going to void that UCC. The only valid one is your private non-UCC under a registered mail number that you in the Republic are holding in the private. See the problem? All of these other guys out here have been misleading because they never took the time to understand this whole damn trust system, how fraudulent it is. There is no, per se, real trust in these people out here. It's a facade. It's a Babylonian banking system under a false title of the usage of the word trust. Yeah, trust me. I won't screw you. I won't put it in. 9 months later, you're popping out a little kid.
Question, Patrick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I had a fire where I actually lost the majority of my documents. I happened to get them back, but I still keep the numbers of the documents that I lost in the fire. Can I just turn those numbers in?
Well, basically, turn in what you've got. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
Okay. I would try and go get new copies of them. They're on the record somewhere out there. Go to the contractor and get another copy of the contract.
They're in foreign states.
Well, go to the foreign states and request them.
Okay.
You don't need all of them. Basically, I mean, you're talking about driver's license in another state or something?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Basically, just turn those numbers in when you get into probate.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay?
Thank you much.
The IRS and especially the Secret Service has all your accounts. But you primarily go after the two main ones that are out there, that the Certificate of Live Birth, which I told you was a trade acceptance between the Department of the Treasury and the Federal Reserve Bank. That's what really transferred the initial credits out of the Treasury over to the Federal Reserve Bank. And the Selective Service was also another one. Most all of your others used the credits that you had in the Federal Reserve Bank or your entitlement credits that were in the Federal Reserve Bank being deposited under that Certificate of Live Birth account number. And all of these account numbers that are there are basically monitored by the Secret Service agents under the Enterprise Financial Management System. They know the numbers. They know everything about you from birth to death.
Patrick, can I ask you a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Hey, Patrick, I stuck my hand in the cookie jar, U.S. Treasury's cookie jar. I went to court. They tried. They found me guilty. Sentencing is set later on in September. Can I invoke the laws of the Republic?
Yes. Yes. You can invoke it at any point in time.
Through an affidavit form? Or it has to be verbal?
I would do it sort of like in an affidavit. Get two living witnesses to basically sign on to it that you are who you say you are, and basically then you make up your own republic identification.
Will it be necessary I have the Constitution, a certified copy of the Constitution to help with the
No, you don't need to get a certified copy of it. Basically, they've got the Constitution. All you need to do is reference that basically you're coming in and you have the power under Article 4, Section 4 of the Constitution, and that you are the United States based upon the first 7 words of the preamble. You can state that if you want to. But basically, all you should have to do is go in there and say, I invoke the laws of the Republic. Or, yeah, I'm standing as a Republic citizen, as a Iowa Republic citizen, and I invoke the laws of the Republic. Watch the movie Postman. Did Kevin Costner have to come up with any other thing besides the 8 that was stenciled on his arm to basically invoke the laws of 8 and claim, challenge the leadership of the Klan? You can challenge basically the position of judge in that court.
How would the canon laws apply to the situation? Should I
Forget
use
the
canon law?
fucking laws, okay? You stick to the fucking American laws, and there's no fucking canon laws in the American laws. Okay?
Yeah.
Don't throw extra shit in the fucking game. You start doing that, and you're going to fuck it up. It's like basically throwing a damn chain into a bunch of gears, and basically you're going to shut the damn process down. You're going to destroy what you want. Come on, people, get your head out of your ass.
Just invoke the laws of the Republic. Okay.
Yes. Keep it simple, stupid.
Mm-hmm. Cool. All right, I yield.
Okay. Anybody else? Unmute the people, Tom.
They're pretty much unmuted.
Okay.
But I can go through and unmute everybody I've unmuted. Well, there's some background noise.
Yeah.
But I think they can unmute themselves with *6 if they want.
Yeah.
Hey, Pat, quick question. If say I never got the title to my truck, and can I just use my owner's card, which has the title number on it? Do you think?
Why didn't you get the title to your vehicle?
Lost or misplaced.
Huh?
Or never. Well, it could have been lost in the mail. I don't remember ever getting it.
Well, go down to the county and ask for a copy of the title to that vehicle. If it's registered, basically, they can give you another copy.
Okay. Yeah, I guess I can just order one.
Yeah. That's what I mean. If you don't have a copy of the contract, go back to the contractor. The contractor has a copy of it.
Yep.
Thanks, Patrick.
Okay.
Another question, Patrick.
Yeah.
At DD-214, how's that calculated?
But in what regards?
To liquidate it.
It has to be surrendered. The fugitive on that DD-214 has to be surrendered, and then basically the U.S. Marshals and the Secret Service and the IRS and the FBI have to go out and seize all the assets that are associated with that DD-214 and bring them into the probate meeting. You don't know what it is until basically you sit down in the meeting at the probate.
Okay.
You don't know how much you've got out there on your certificate of live birth. You don't know how much is out there in all the bonds under the Social Security right now. You don't know how much is really out there, per se, under the driver's license. We know that they've written fidelity bonds to the tune of about $11.2 million, but that is not everything. And then in some cases, the performance bond is going to have to be liquidated and basically probated properly so that so much goes out of it in taxes and so much of it goes out for other processing fees, but everything in the payment bond has to be properly given over to you. Full value out of the payment bond.
Oh, I got another question. The contract that they got me on, as far as that court situation that I went to trial and everything, they found me guilty and all that stuff, took my hand in the cookie jar. Would that contract be under the SSN or birth certificate or the COL?
I don't know. Okay, and then depending on what charge. Okay, did you violate one of the 10 Commandments or one of the original 15 American Commandments?
No.
Okay.
Mail fraud. This wrongful information to the IRS. 18.
Well, basically, the whole IRS, most of the IRS out there, not all of it. There are some good guys in the IRS, but the vast majority are commercial IRS agents out here, and basically they're all operating in fraud. So basically you get them into the Republic, and basically they don't have a leg to stand on, okay? So basically you just get that in there about invoking, and basically, if nothing else, you turn around and you take that up to an appeals court. You appeal it up the ladder and say, I am appealing this in the Republic up to the appeals court.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay. Are you?
Okay. Anybody else?
Patrick, what do you do if you already went to jail for like contempt of court? Is there anything that you can do to just forget about it, forgive them, or what?
Yeah, you're going to turn around. You're going to get it back. You're going to get your compensation back from your fugitive when you get rid of him.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, and basically, I mean, you can turn around and basically find out when you go into probate in the process, and basically in the probate, you should be able to check all charges and discharges out of those contracts. And at that point in time, you can levy a charge against these fraudulent people for double dipping, triple dipping, whatever. That's what they're afraid of, is us going in and finding out about all of their fraudulent charges and everything else that they've been working with the contractor to steal from our accounts.
Yeah, because I actually never would have known. I had a background check done, and it showed up that I went to jail for contempt of court. And I had no idea, since there was no bond or anything associated with it, that it would show up on my credit report.
Yeah, but that credit report is all fraud anyway.
Yes, sir.
What are they doing? They're trying to raise so that you have to pay more out of your back pocket. That is a trade restriction. Yeah, it's a total, and basically, it's a violation.
That's an Article 1, 6, and 10 violation, isn't it?
It's a violation of the damn 14th Amendment. It's a violation of Title 15 U.S.C. Section 1 and 2. That whole credit reporting system is a monopolization of your right of free trade. You, in the Republic, have the full faith and credit. You're able to give the full faith and credit out of the treasury of the country. Your credit rating is 1,000%. Period. Just like in the movie Eraser, when Vanessa Williams basically was turned in all of her cards, and Arnold gave her a AAA debit card. That was a debit card that basically the credit value on it was 1,000%. But what was the first thing she had to ask? What's my limit? What's my limit?
So Patrick, I want to.
It's unlimited. Go ahead.
I want to add that when you talk about probate, I looked up who the registrar is in my old Bouvier's dictionary, the 1800s version, and the definition says, as in England, the registrar is a probate court. So that's further proof that document has already been probated, but you just never received your funds. You never received the accounting.
In America, the probate has to go through the Justice Department. See, over there in England, that registrar, basically in a different court scenario and everything, goes through the exchequer, or basically whatever, over there. Okay? Slightly different court scenario. The Justice Department is basically the place that we have to go. They're the finance center that we have to basically get the just exchangement in the process first before, and then the warrants from the Justice Department can go over to the Treasury Department. The Treasury Department only operates primarily on warrants. And see, that initial birth certificate registration by the Department of Commerce or whoever, basically they went to the Department of Justice and had a warrant issued over to the Treasury to do a draw against the National Treasury to bring the funds out and transfer them over to the Federal Reserve Bank. But you'll never find that documented anywhere. But that's the only way that it can work. Okay, anybody else?
Question, Patrick. Me again.
Yeah.
I'm on edge on this situation, this court situation. I know you say invoke the laws of the public. Additional to send that package to them. My SF 14, 16, 18, and modify that case with the SF 30. And, yeah. And that's be done in the private, or I invoke the law in the private?
You have to just invoke the law of the republic, okay?
In the private?
Get that done, okay?
Yeah.
And find out what happens from there, okay?
Yeah. That's done in the private or public? Invoke the law.
Where do you think the republic is?
In the public.
It's in the private.
Oh, damn. All right.
The commercial is in the public realm, okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. I yield.
Okay, anybody else? Okay, Tom, call tonight.
Okay, thank you very much, Patrick.
Okay, good night.
Very intense call.
Thank you.
Thank you.